Bonsoir, chers amis. Welcome to the Haitian Community Podcast. I am your host, Brittany Isidore, and the heart of our conversation today illuminates the stories within our Haitian community and beyond. We are dedicated to showcasing individuals and organizations making a meaningful impact. And today we have an exceptional guest, two guests actually, who we're gonna share their stories and the work that they're doing in our community. But what I want you to remember is that each and every episode delves into the diversity of entrepreneurship, creativity, and guess what? Community building. Our focus is on uplifting voices that inspire and empower the Haitian diaspora. So today, we are so honored to have two champions of education and youth leadership on our podcast. Conor Bohan, the driving force behind HELP, Haitian Leadership in Education program, has dedicated his life to empowering Haiti's youth. With a Bachelor of Arts in History from Brown University and a wealth of experience in international development, Conor's passion for Haiti is evident within his work. As an Ashoka Fellow and a Fellow of the RSA, he has garnered recognition for his innovative approach to social change. In addition to growing HELP, Conor was a volunteer teacher, deputy director of the National Democratic Institute in Haiti, and director of Haiti programs for the American Institutes for Research. Joining Conor, we have Daphnee Charles, a dynamic leader and advocate for Haiti's development. Holding a degree from the Université Quisqueya in Haiti, Daphnee furthered her education with a fellowship at Dartmouth College and the Tuck Business School. Her impressive academic background is complemented by her practical experience in the Haitian tech ecosystem, where she has been instrumental in organizing events like Haiti Tech Summit and Startup Grind PAP. Her impactful work does not go unacknowledged, as she was one of the top 10 most influential women in Haiti in 2017, and she received the award in 2020, the National Honorary YoPro Award, for her outstanding accomplishments and contributions in the nonprofit and economic development sector. Together, Conor and Daphnee are just a portion of the amazing team at HELP. Their combined expertise and passion have been instrumental in creating sustainable impact on Haiti's future. In this episode, join us as we delve into their inspiring journeys, the challenges they've overcome, and the vision they hold for Haiti's future. Welcome to the podcast, Daphnee and Conor. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us, Brittany. It's great to be here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Wonderful. So, qui j'en nous y est?
Non, femme. Nous poser.
Nous poser?
Nous comptons là.
Oh, moi content nous là too. Moi content nous là too. Can you guys believe that we're already into the, third quarter of the year?
Gosh, is it?
We don't need to mention that.
We don't need to talk about it.
Started yesterday.
It really did. It's going by so fast. But I'm so happy that we could take a moment and have you guys on here. Because if you're watching right now, you're going to want to stay tuned in into the very end. Because by the end of this podcast, I know that you guys are literally going to be reaching out to both Daphnee and Conor about the amazing work that they do. So Conor, your story is woven into the story of HELP. Let's rewind a little bit to the beginning of your life. Could you tell us a little bit about your upbringing?
Sure, yes. So my father was in the military. He was in the Navy, and that meant that we had the opportunity to move around quite a bit when I was growing up and to live in different countries. And so he was stationed in Boston and then in London, England, where I went to grade school. And then we moved to Washington, D.C. for junior high school. And I finished high school and went to college in Rhode Island. And so that also meant that we were able to travel quite a bit in and around all the places where we were living. And so I was able to see a really good part of the world, before I even went to college. And then after college, I actually went back to Europe and worked and traveled for a year or two. And then the more time I spent in Europe, the more I realized that the quality of life and the standard of living was really very similar to the United States. And I started looking around for something that was very different. So I started looking for volunteer jobs in first in Africa. And I remember talking to the Red Cross at a certain time and telling them I wanted to go volunteer in Africa. And the woman said, "Oh, that's terrific. We're desperate for people." And I said, "Oh, that's great. Sign me up. What do I do?" And she said, "Well, we need doctors and water pump engineers." And I said, "Well, I have a history degree and I speak Italian." And she said, "Well, we need doctors and water pump engineers." And that was the end of that conversation. And so I thought to myself, wow, I don't think I'm going to share with my parents that after they shelled out all this money for my education, that I'm not even qualified to volunteer for the Red Cross in Africa. But in any case, I ended up finding this opportunity in Haiti that I had found out about. It was a school, free high school for kids who'd done well in grade school but couldn't afford to go to high school. Because as many people will know, almost all the schools in Haiti are private schools you need to pay for. So that means that there's a lot of kids not going to school because they can't afford it. And so that school had been started by a group out of Rhode Island, and I found out about when I was living in Rhode Island, and so I got in touch with them, and really, literally a couple of weeks later, I landed on the ground in Haiti. Was out in a place called Quadibouquet, and it was me and 120 Haitians at the school, and that's how that's how I ended up in Haiti, and that's how it all started.
Wow. You have to tell us, did you have a nickname while you were at the school?
Well, no, not really, but obviously my nickname in the street was what anybody else in my situation would have had as a nickname, which was T Blanc.
T Blanc, there you go. That suffices. I'll take it. So, how many continents had you been to before you went to Haiti to start teaching?
I'd been to 3 continents. I traveled a lot in Europe when we were living in London, obviously, and traveled around the United States, and had also been to Latin America. Yeah, so I'd been to 3 continents.
Wow. So 3 different continents, and you mentioned earlier that Europe was pretty similar to what you had seen in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Haiti. Tell us about maybe similarities, differences.
Yeah, pretty dissimilar to what I had experienced to that point, right? Yeah, it was very different. In fact, when I showed up at the school in the first Friday when the kids were going home, one of the kids came up to me and said, "I'm going home now." And I said, "Have a good weekend." And he said, "You too." And he just stood there and he didn't move and I didn't move. And I'm looking at him and he's looking at me and it's starting to get awkward. And so I said, "Well, what is it?" And he said, "I need money for the bus." And I thought to myself, "Oh, well, don't promise anything because you'll have like 100 kids in line. We're looking for bus money." So I said, "Well, how much is the bus?" And he said, "It's 2 gourds," which at the time was about 12 cents. And so obviously I was able to help him out with the bus fare, but I just had never come into contact with that kind of poverty before. And that was very striking for me because the kids were hard workers at school. They did real well. They were very ambitious. And yet at the end of the day, they didn't have 12 cents to take the bus back home.
Yeah, that brings me to the question, why did you feel like you had that desire to go and teach? I know that you said like, okay, in Africa, they were looking for pump engineers and doctors. Listen, I hear you. Sometimes I look at opportunities, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not qualified. But it sounds like there was something more there. It wasn't just like, okay, this is an opportunity that I meet the qualifications for. There was something in you maybe that made you feel like you could do this kind of work.
Yeah, in the end, I'm not 100% sure that's true. I think that I was looking to go to a developing country, and I was looking to spend a fair amount of time there. I didn't want to go for a week or two. And I did think that I would be able to learn a little bit more about the country if I was doing, say, volunteer work, some nonprofit work, as opposed to if I went to work for a corporation and ended up, in some office with a bunch of other professionals. So, and then when I got in touch with the school. I just thought this was something that was very worthwhile. Here were these kids who had done very well in grade school, couldn't afford to go to high school, which again, come from the United States. It's just impossible not to be able to go to high school. In fact, they force you to go to school until you're 16. It's illegal not to be in high school, right? So this was just kind of the world turned upside down for me. So I thought, okay, yeah, this is something where this seems like a worthwhile endeavor where I'll also be able to be in an environment that will enable me to learn a lot about the country. So it just kind of met all my criteria at the time.
Okay, and so you talked about not wanting to stay for a little bit of time. You stayed for 12 years?
Yeah, well,
it?
I went for I signed up for 6 months and I stayed for the better part of 12 years.
See, tout le monde aime Haïti, Daphnee.
Yeah.
Tout le monde aime Haïti.
Il tombe d'amour.
Yes. So, okay, what happened in 2005 while you were teaching in Haiti?
Well, so one of the students in the graduating class is a young woman named Isman Joseph. And Isman was one of the two. There were only two women in the class at that who had kind of survived and passed all and hadn't dropped out by senior year. And Isman was one of them. And she was just a real remarkable person. She was very courageous. She said what was on her mind, and she wasn't really concerned with the consequences. And if she saw something that needed correcting, she would tell anybody. She would tell me. She would tell her fellow students. She just was really someone who had the courage of her convictions. She was also very interested in learning. She was always asking questions, not questions that were going to be on the test, just questions because she just wanted to learn about the world. So she was really great to have in class. And then it was, so I went to Haiti in January. I taught for a semester. So I ended up and the school ended in June and Isman graduated. And then when I came back to school in September, October, I got a phone call from Isman and she was asking me for $30 so that she could enroll in secretarial school. And again, where I come from, the world that I grew up in, if you finish it, that if you're a top student in your high school, you're not looking to go to secretarial school. There's a lot of other opportunities available to you. So again, I hadn't been in Haiti very long, so I said, "Well, let me come talk to you, find out a little bit more about this," because I really didn't understand the situation. And so I did. I went to her house in Cité Soleil, and we sat down, we talked, and she told me about how she had gone to. There's a friend of hers who was going to take the test for secretarial school, and it's called College Bird. It's very old, very reputable school in Port-au-Prince. And her friend had called her and said, "Hey, I'm going to go take the test. Do you want to come with me and take the test?" And Isman said, "Well, I'll come with you, but I can't go to the school." And her friend said, "Oh yeah, well, just come with me. It'll be better. I don't want to go and not know anybody. It'll help me out." So essentially she did her friend a favor. She took the test, she went home. And then a couple of days later, she got a phone call from the head of the school. And the woman said, "Oh, I'm just calling to tell you that you got the top grade on the school." On the entrance exam. And Isman said, "Oh, thank you very much." And the woman said, "Well, don't you want to come to the school?" And she said, "Oh, no, I could never afford that. I was just helping my friend. I was just doing my friend a favor and went to take the test with her." And the woman said, "Oh, okay, well, suppose you had a half scholarship." And Isman said, "Oh, that's very kind of you, but even then, that's really out of reach." And the woman said, "Well, the best I can do for you is 75% scholarship. I just can't do anything else." And Isman said, "Well, I really appreciate it, but I still can't do that, but let me ask around and see what I can find." And so anyway, so that's how she ended up talking to me. And she needed the equivalent of $30. That was it to enroll. And so, I mean, I knowing Isman and her capacity and her potential, I said, well, is this what you really want to do? And she said something that I'll never forget. She said, it doesn't matter what I want to do. This is the opportunity that I have.
Mm.
And this was the only opportunity she had. And she didn't really have that opportunity because she didn't have the $30. I mean, you got to understand the deprivation. I mean, the whole family put together and, aunts and cousins and everything, they couldn't come up with $30 to get her into secretarial school. And so you can imagine the circumstances that she had grown up in. In any case, I asked her, "Well, suppose you had any opportunity, what would you like to do?" And she told me a story about how when she was a little girl and she would play dolls with her friends were always interested in the clothes, in dolls' clothes, and they were all exchanging outfits. And she said, "I never had any interest in the clothes. I would take my doll, I'd go into the corner, and I'd give my doll injections and stitches and bandages. And the only thing I ever wanted to do since I was this high is to be a doctor." So I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I can give you $30 right now out of my wallet and for the secretarial school. But before I do that, why don't we find out what is available as far as medical school in Haiti? And so 3 days later, she called me. She had the information. She'd gone to 3 or 4 schools. She had all the information laid out. And so instead, I gave her some money. I don't know how much it was to take the entrance exam for medical school. And then I was a volunteer at the time. I was making $200 a month was my volunteer stipend, and so that wasn't going to go very far. And so I did what every other 20-something does when they run out of money: is the first call they make is to their parents.
That's
You
right.
call mom, you call dad.
I'm still in my 20s. I know this. Yes.
So I talked to them and I said, "Yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is the situation. Are you interested in helping out?" And they said yes. And they started sending money, and then family and other family and friends started sending money. And so we were able to put Ismont through school, and then to start helping some other students as well. And that's how it started. And just for anybody who's interested, Ismont did an interview a couple of years ago, and she tells the story, and she tells the story from her perspective, and she does a much better job than I do. And if you Google Ismont Haiti, you'll get the YouTube interview, and it had more than 1 million hits on Facebook.
Wow, we can
published.
definitely include it below.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Fantastic. Right. And shout out to the people at Aibo Post in Haiti. They were the media outlet that recognized the power of her story and put it up there. And there were a lot of other people that hadn't been interested before, and then put it up there, and then the thing blew up in a million views in a very short amount of time.
What a beautiful story. First of all, the friend that made her, that she supported to go take the exam with, I'm like, shout out to that friend, okay? I need a friend to drag me along when they go try to do stuff, because who knows what else I can do. And just the love and support of a teacher. I think teachers don't get enough credit, and we know this, right? Even here in the United States, especially in Haiti. The fact that you push back a little bit, the fact that it wasn't just problem solution, but like, hey, I know you, I see you, I see how you engage in my class as a student of mine, and I want to ask you, is this what you really want? That's really powerful. And I think something that happens on a micro level that a lot of us don't get to appreciate all the time if it's not our personal story. So it's such a beautiful story to hear about her. But how did that story actually lead to the creation of Help? How far after that did the organization get established?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think part of what drove me to ask Ismont those questions was just her experience, the lack of opportunity that she had was something that was just so foreign to me. And, my father was in the military. We weren't wealthy by any means, but we always had the opportunity to do the things that we wanted to explore the things we wanted to do, and definitely, either in school and outside of school. And obviously, I thank my parents for that, and they were very supportive of us pursuing what our interests, essentially. So when you have someone that has all that potential and their world of opportunity is so small, that was just really something that was very striking for me.
Yeah.
So, and then After Isman, there were a couple other classmates of hers that heard about this and started, because they saw all of a sudden Isman's in university. Everybody knows she can't afford to go to school, so can't afford it. So I asked Isman, what's going on? How'd you get into university? She said, oh, Mr. Conor is helping me. And so then they came to me. There's another fabulous story. The second student that we ever paid the entrance exam for was a guy named Florinal Joseph. Florinal had a long and complicated academic career, which ended up with him getting a PhD in microbiology from Brooklyn College.
Wow.
And we went and visited him in March because he runs the cytometry lab at NYU's Grossman School of Medicine, where he also has a faculty appointment, and it's just really extraordinary.
When the name is that long, I know it's important.
I know. And and Isman graduated with a medical degree, and those are the first two students that we helped out. And so you see the students starting to progress. We just started helping out some students. Very informally. I think one of the big things that happened to us was actually about 2 years in. I couldn't tell you how many students we were supporting, but about 2 years in, one of the students that we had started helping out, Woodley Joseph, graduated. He had actually come to us at the end of his sophomore year. It was in the same class, a classmate of Woodley a classmate of Florinal and Ismond. And he I just met him one time, actually. He didn't come to ask me for anything. I just met him and asked him how he was doing. I said, hey, how are you? How you doing? And he goes, very badly. And no one ever says that to you. You're like, yeah, I'm fine. It's good. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. What's going on? And he said, I tell you, he said, I've been in school for 2 years. I haven't been able to buy a single book. He was going to the state university, which was tuition free. And he goes, I'm 20 years old, and every Sunday I have to go ask my mother for bus money for the week. And I feel like, I know that this is a huge burden on the family, and I feel like I should be contributing. And yet I feel like I'm a financial drain on the family at 20 years old. And he goes, I think I'm going to drop out. And a friend of mine offered me a job in a hardware store that was going to pay him about $100 a month. And so I said, wow, wait a minute, let's talk about this. How much money do you need for, what do you need? He talked about it a little bit. And I said, okay, I'll make a deal with you. You did 2 years. And so if you did 2 years, you can do another 2 years. And if you promise to stay in school, I will find the money for the bus money and the books. Anyway, long story short, he graduated 2 years later, and his first job was $9,000 a year. So his first paycheck was $800, and that's 8 times what he was going to drop out of school and work for 2 years earlier. And that was kind of a key moment where, like, oh, okay, wow, this can really make, the economic opportunity there for graduates is extraordinary.
That's amazing. That's so amazing and beautiful. So Daphnee, tell me, today you are presently the development officer and alumni affairs associate. But when did your connection to HELP actually start? How did you get connected to this organization?
Well, I was in high school at a school in Pétionville called Collège Méthodiste de Frères. And I was a brilliant student. I tried to stay among the 3 top students, if not the top, the first top student. And the principal of my school came to the class and then called the 3 top students of the class and told them, there's this program called HELP, the Haitian Education and Leadership Program. They are giving away scholarships for people to go to college. And these are the applications, fill them out, and then we will do the rest to send them back to the office. And then I said, scholarship. And then, like, what does that entail? And they said, well, they're going to pay for your tuition. They're going to give you a monthly stipend. They give you books. There's a library and everything. And I'm like, okay. Because, there's this context in Haiti where for everything you need, like a marine, parent,
Oui.
And I was
Connections.
like, yeah, connections. Like, I said, this is too good to be true. Like, where I'm going to find the president to sign my recommendation letter so that I can make sure I get into the program. So I said, okay, I'll fill it out. And then I forgot, for a week. And then the principal came, Daphnee, you didn't fill out your form. Like the two other students, they fill it out already. What's going on? I said, yeah, I'll fill it out. And then he threatened me. He said, if you don't fill it out, I'm going to send you back home. And I'm going to call your parents.
We got some involved people in these stories. The friend who took Isman to the exam and your principal who threatened you to go home.
Yes, like if I didn't fill it out, I'm like, well, okay, because I don't know how I can explain to my parents that I'm sent back home because I didn't fill out an application for a college scholarship.
Without want to.
Yes.
Without bambaton.
Without bambaton too.
So I filled it out, and again, I forgot about it. So I started, to check out the public university, see if I could get into the dentist school that they have in Haiti. And then I never follow up. Like I sent the application, I never called. I didn't try to see where the office was because I was like, okay, I have to do it. I do it, but I didn't really believe, neither expect that they will actually call me and I will get a scholarship.
Wow.
So, and then there's my neighbor, because at that time it was 2007. And that's the time where, we don't have a cell phone and then you have the phone with the cord. You know these telephones? Okay, I know your age.
29.
So, and then because we didn't have a phone at home, and then we have this neighbor that has this phone, and that's where
Voisin.
So that's where everybody in the community, they go to get the call or to receive calls. So, and help has been calling many times. And because like where I live from my neighbor, like from his window, he could look and see if I'm there. So it seems like they called at least twice and then they looked over the window and I wasn't there. And then he told the people that Daphnee is not there. And then they kept calling. And then they said, well, you got somebody, go get Daphnee, because I don't know what she has done to these people, but they will not stop calling.
Wow.
And then they cut me, Daphnee, y a pris l'eau dans téléphone. I'm like, what's going on? And then I pick up the phone and then it was help telling, wow, we are almost done with the recruitment. You are the last one, on the list because we haven't been able to reach you. We tried many times. So that's how persistent like the recruitment team is at help. And then I said, and they said, can you come right now? I said, yes, I'm coming right now. So I just I said, Mom, they just called me for the scholarship program. So I went in and I met Conor. I also met the national director, the country director, Gary DeLeese. And then I did the interview, and then that's how I got into the program.
Amazing. Shout out to the principal.
Yes.
And your neighbor, Voisin, in the phone, and the persistence.
Definitely.
Wow. How did you really feel at the time? Like, I want to know, what were you thinking you wanted to do before you heard about help? Like, what were your plans and how positive were you feeling about your plans for, after you graduated?
Well, I wanted to become a dentist. And this is just because my dad has his best friend. He was a dentist, and this guy was doing well. I'm like, I'm gonna go and do, become a dentist, and I just wanna be have a good life just as my dad best friend. And then I also, because this family actually, they help us a lot, throughout, high school and primary school. This guy was my dad, it's still my dad best friend. And then he had, and that's actually very different from my dad's story. They were born about the same time. They grew up in the same community. And then his parents sent him to school. He finished and then even make it to the dentistry school in the public university. But my dad's parents didn't send him to school. He didn't finish primary school. And then he didn't make it to college. And my dad has this story where my dad know like to count in Spanish until 100. His friend taught him. It knows some of the poésie, in French, the story of like the na question histoire d'Haïti. He knows all of that just because his friend who went to school taught him.
Wow.
So, and then because of, this relationship, I've seen it. And then these families also, like, they each time my dad had an issue, like they sent us back home because we didn't pay the tuition. That was the only person that my dad would go to and that would give us some help. But we were like 5, in the family, because I have 2 older brothers and I have 2 younger sisters. And then it's just a burden to rely, because this family, I think they had like 9 kids, if I recall well. So they had a lot to do. But as a dentist, he was doing well enough, to help his best friend, because my dad was his best friend. So I was thinking, I want to become the dentist. And then I also thought, this guy could also help me. Like if I make it to the school, and then maybe if I need an internship, I need to practice, I saw a path where I could do a career, but there was no guarantee. And then what makes it worse, it's because at that time there was some political instability in Haiti, and particularly in the public university. Actually, I should have taken the exam. It was delayed because there was like some strikes and things like that. And then I finally took the exam very late. And then they never really gave the result because there was like so many issues. So like it was even like making it to the public university, the dentistry school in Haiti, there was no guarantee that I would get in and I will finish on time. So when I received that call, like, and then I was coming from my neighbor's house, I was jumping, literally, like I'm jumping happy. And then from afar, I'm telling Mama, they called me. And then I think I can get the scholarship because that's something, that's a gift from God. I'm very persuasive. And because I think like I also talk with my heart, that I will tell the truth and what I think, because I thought that like if I got in front of them, I know I got the only thing that I needed.
That's right.
I needed was to get in front of them, because I think like I can convince them that I'm a good fit for this scholarship.
That's a message for people listening. If you could just get in front of the right person, and a lot of us know who that person is, they may have been calling your phone already, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was that's how I felt, and that's how I discovered the program, and then that has completely changed my life.
Wow. Can you tell us, after receiving the scholarship, kind of your journey?
Well, actually interesting. So I got the scholarship now, and then, I'm like, okay, I don't need to go to the public university anymore. And then it was still, not a guarantee that they will open either on time or if ever. So now I'm like, okay, what should I study? Because I wasn't really sure, because in my family, there was no one graduated from university yet. I have 2 older brothers, but there was my first brother was doing civil engineer, and then it was very difficult because my mom was trying to pay for her, and it was very difficult. My second brother make it to the public university at Saint-Zumaine. He was learning communication, but he didn't finish yet. And like I had no model, I had no like advisors really to tell me, to even like make me realize what I wanted to do. I just know like café belle moyenne depuis moi rentre côté m'a sorti pour comme.
Yes.
So that's what I thought. But I did contact somebody in my neighborhood. There was a professor who was very well respected, and I told him, well, I have this opportunity to go and do on the college. What do you think I should study? And then we started, to strategize a little bit because we're like, well, like all Haitians, they want to become a doctor. If you say doctor,
it's true. If you don't know yet, it's true.
Yeah. So he said, maybe if you choose doctor, maybe there's too many people. You don't know like how many scholarship they are giving in medicine. Maybe you should go with the second option. And then he said, agronomy, because there's a guarantee that you will find a good job in agronomy. And I said, oh, like that's good, because I woke up in a family, we didn't have like big land. but we have like a parcel, of land behind our house, and my dad was always trying to plant, to plant some yam, some plantain, and I was always there, trying to understand, or like the banana yo pare, toujours me get al pran yo, to fail. So I was like, well, actually, that could happen, and that's something that I like. And so I was advised to go to agronomy, and I that's what I did. I went to Quisqueya. I studied agroeconomics. And my experience when we first started that first year, help was concentrated in Port-au-Prince, but they had this idea of expanding, and they were trying to see if they could go in the countryside. So, and then they were, let's try the university. There's a good university, agriculture program at the Catholic University called Notre Dame. Why don't we explore that? And then I don't know why, how like this came about. And because I don't believe I was the only student studying agronomy, but I was the only person that was offered like the opportunity to leave Port-au-Prince. Like I never lived like away from my parents or my family before. Never. That was like the first time. D'ailleurs, la kay mwen, papa m toujou di, ti moun pa leve nan dekay. Like even my aunt, I never even slept over. My dad will come get us. Ti moun pa leve nan dekay ou pa nan dormi de yo.
Oui.
So I never really had any experience, living and sleeping outside my house. But then they wanted to explore that, and Gary said, yeah, we have this opportunity, we'd like to explore. Like I was like the cobaye, I like that. I'm like the how they call that in
Guinea pig?
The guinea pig. So I'm like, oh my God, it was exciting and scary. It was exciting. I'm like, oh wow, I can, be by myself, be independent for the first time of my life, that was exciting. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be in the countryside because I was born and raised in Port-au-Prince, m'habitué avec la capitale. And now I have to go alone. And it was like me, the only, like a female only student.
Only female student? I have
I
a
was the
similar
only one.
experience.
Yeah, like the only one. And then Montifi. I remember like my dad, because we went and visited the university, my dad came along. Like he came with all the orientation, like seeing where I would be staying, with the director of help, of course. And then we explored and said, okay, no problem. So I moved to Lekai, in the south of Haiti. And I spent the first year there. I liked it. And then the second year, they said, I think 7 more students, and then they were all guys.
It was Daphnee and the crew.
Exactly. The second years. And then so I spent 2 years at Notre Dame, and then the system was not going well. And that's another issue that we discovered, and then the program discovered as well, is what it was like. In the universities outside of Port-au-Prince, it's very hard to keep the professors. Because the work that can give them money to take care of themselves, these jobs are in Port-au-Prince. They are like all the professors, they wanted to come only for weekends to do the classes. Like how can it's very hard. So the quality was not guaranteed. So after 2 years, like I did 2 years, and then the student that came, the second year, they did only 1 year. And then I was transferred to Université Quisqueya, where I finished and graduated.
Yeah, what a journey.
Yeah, it
Being
is.
away from home for the very first time, literally like no nights outside of the house.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
it's a lot.
It is. And this helped me really, really grow and became more independent. I think I was very independent in my head already, but I think this was a really a big boost. For me. And something else I could also add in this journey is that help. It's not only the tuition or the academic training. We also have 4 years leadership curriculum, and then 4 years English. So people who are listening, I want them to understand that if they see like sometimes some of the words, don't maybe like the pronunciation, I'm still working on it. It is like I learned English as my third language through the help program. That allowed me not only to go to the fellowship program at Dartmouth after in 2010, but also to be able now to participate, showing the podcast, in English. And then that's all of these services and many more, that are offered by the program.
Beautiful. I love how you spoke about the fact that it wasn't just here's the tuition, but you literally had an experience that kind of changed the direction of your life, exposed you to being away from home, being, able to study agricultural economics, being able to engage with a different group of people. I've been in many different experiences along my educational journey studying sustainable agriculture, where I was the only female amongst many men.
Is that true?
And so I really, can understand how enlightening that experience can be. Let's talk a little bit about, the students. I'm going to be honest. I already know because when it's on IECN, there's no shortage of promising students in Haiti. I'm sure the amount of students who you can choose outweigh the resources at this point. You need more resources to meet the demands because there's amazing students in Haiti who are waiting for the support, right? To be able to have these experiences that are going to allow them to go deeper into what they really want to do to, be able to be employed and give back to the community. But can you help our viewers really understand the three different areas? Just break it down, maybe just briefly, the educational versus the civic and then, the professional aspect. Basically the strategy that help employees to kind of, as you mentioned, Daphnee, like take you through that experience.
Sure. Well, as far as the kind of demand for the scholarships and the acceptance rate, when we started, we asked for a minimum GPA of 7 out of 10. So that is equivalent to essentially like an A- average throughout high school. And you have to show us your transcript before we give you an application. And we ended up having 500 candidates for 50 spots. So that's 10%. So 90% of students with a minimum straight A average throughout high school, grades 9 through 12, were rejected. That's how competitive it was. And it was so competitive that because 90% of the kids who filled out an application, like half the kids who filled an application just didn't stand a chance because they were in the bottom half of this 500 pool of 500 candidates, and so there were 250 kids above them. So we raised about 5 years ago, we raised the minimum GPA from 7 to 7.5. And we still had hundreds of candidates. And so a year or two ago, we had to raise it again.
For those who don't know what the GPA scale is in Haiti, could you share?
Oh yeah, well, essentially, like like if you get like a 9, then if you get 90%, essentially, if you get 90%, if you get a score 90, 9 out of 10, that's the equivalent of 100. Because they don't give out 100s in Haiti. There was one kid who told us that he had 100 average and his teacher gave him a 95 and he went to complain and he said, but I didn't get any, I didn't get a one question wrong during the whole semester. And so I should have 100. And his teacher told him, he said, well, 100% is perfection and only God is perfect. So I can't give you a perfect score. I need to give you a 95. So that's how it goes. So that's how it goes. So anyway, so in any case, so now you need a 7.8 and that was just to kind of minimize people raising the hopes of hundreds of candidates, again, who have like an A- average throughout high school, but just didn't stand a chance. So that's how competitive it is. And, we could double, we accept 50 students a year. We could double or triple that in an instant if we were able to get funding for more students, and because the demand is intense, and so now we're getting kids. It's only A and A+ average throughout high school. That's just to apply to the program, and we're taking the top kids from that candidate pool. So it's intensely. I mean, it's just as competitive, if not more competitive, than the top schools in the United States. In any case, yeah. So in the beginning, with Ismont, you talked about, to describe the different goods and services that we offer. And with Ismont, I told her I would pay for tuition and books and nothing else. And then it turned out that, she was spending 2 hours on the bus at Tap getting to school, and another 2 hours getting home. So you're spending 4 hours trying to get there and back. You can't, it's not like riding the train or the bus in the US and you can kind of do your homework at the back of the bus, which I've done many, many times. But so you're in the back of this dusty Tap and with 14 other people, and there's no way you're taking out a book or doing anything. So that's just time wasted.
It's a bumpy ride.
It is a bumpy ride, sure. And it's hot. And so that's just a waste of time. So it was very, very difficult. And then Isman said, I get home and there's no electricity. So Isman went through, first year of medical school, which is like biochemistry, biology, anatomy, studying by candlelight while wasting 4 hours on her commute. So the experiences like that taught us that the books and tuition books wasn't going to be enough. And so eventually we found a place. We rented a room for Isman that was closer to campus, and then provided her with a stipend because she doesn't have the money to eat if she's not with her family, on and on. And so, and over the years, we've added these goods and services as we've seen the need for them. So, like obviously so academics, you've got your degree program at university, and then you've got 2 years of computers, 4 years of English, and 4 years of civics and leadership, citizenship and leadership. And those, the computers, the English, and the leadership courses are given at help by help instructors. So that's our curriculum in addition to what you're studying at university or degree program. So that's the academic component. And then there's housing. Now, so we have the dorms because there aren't any dorms at the Haitian University. So all of our students are housed in help dorms. We're the only residential scholarship program in the country. And then there's also stipend. And the kids are able to, and we don't provide food. So we have the students organize their own food in the dorms, and we try to have the students run the dorms by themselves as much as possible. So there's, a food committee, a maintenance and cleaning committee, and a social committee in each dorm. And they just kind of take care of that. And we tell them, here's your stipend. We don't want to hear about it. You solve your own problems. And then as far as extracurricular stuff, and essentially, basically, this turned out to be just based on what my experience at university and the services just the basic services that that any of us who've been to college here in the States have, like career services office for internships and resume preparation and mock interviews and all this stuff, just preparing you to go out and look for a job and get a job and act professional. And so the Haitian universities don't have that. And so the internships and those kind of opportunities are pretty haphazard. So we have we have our own Office of Career Services, which Daphnee actually ran for a little while. And I think over 60% of our students do an internship every year. A lot of them intern at Help, and a lot of them intern at businesses and other institutions in Haiti. So,
Wow.
And then there's a bunch of other stuff. We have study abroad program that kind of fell in our laps. We have study abroad program now as Daphnee participated at Dartmouth. That isn't available anymore, but we have agreements with Bard College in New York and with Cornell University also in upstate New York. And our students have both done courses there and also online courses. So that's, and then we have an alumni affairs office. So it's just really kind of like the schools in Haiti are kind of like commuter colleges here. You go to school, you go to class, you go home, and that's it. And what we've realized is necessary for what we're trying to do, which is to create leaders who are going to work together to create change and expand opportunity in Haiti. These are the things that are necessary, and they're not, they're things that are standard at U.S. universities and that unfortunately are luxuries at Haitian universities. So we're just trying to make them standard for our students.
That's so wonderful. 50 students, you gave that example of 50 students being able to accept 50 out of 500. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong. I think I might be in the ballpark, but we're somewhere around what we say we can count 13 million in terms of the population of Haiti.
Somewhere around there, sure.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Mhm.
When I was on your website, which is so beautiful, by the way, so
Thank you.
listeners, you
Thank
should
you.
definitely visit their website.
www.uhelp.net. Uhelp.net.
There we go. www.uhelp.net. I went to the team page. I felt like I counted at least 15 people who were either board of directors or
Mhm.
staff.
Mhm.
And then I think of 50 students, and the amount, if you have somewhere around 15 people working full time to support this program of 50 students, it's no surprise to me that you guys have had the impact and success that you all have had, because it sounds like what you're doing is so intentional, and you are not looking to replace the education system in Haiti, but work with it to supplement the things that maybe aren't as strong at this point in time.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're doing. So we send our students to the most selective universities in Haiti that are recognized by an organization called the Association of Francophone Universities. And so we deal with 3 or 4 universities, and they have good degree programs. Kids come out of there quite well prepared in their degree program, but you could go to school there and come out as an engineer or doctor and not speak English. But everybody needs to speak English today. If be part of the scientific world, be part of the commercial world. English is the international language, and so if you want to succeed, you really need to speak English. So these are the kinds of things that we added on. So the education, the degree programs at the schools are great. Our kids we have 30 students who are in graduate school, 100% on scholarship all around the world. So that education that they get at the Haitian University, combined with the additional support that we give them, that again is just standard support at any U.S. university, allows them to be really successful and do whatever they want to do.
Amazing.
Yeah, if I could add something to that too, because I think it's very important that people that are listening understand that. Because when people hear scholarships and then they think, yale lot bo. No, it's scholarships for Haitians in Haitian universities. So that means these people have the opportunity to study while they are in Haiti in university that are recognized internationally, and they can earn a degree that is recognized internationally, because Haiti has one of the biggest brain drain in the world.
Yeah.
1% of Haitians with a degree are living outside of the country, and it's very well, actually 1% are studying at university, and only about less than 15% are staying in Haiti. So it's hard. You cannot just take the brain of the country and ship it out of the country. And I like to say, like, when you say that, it's like son tête sans corps, son corps sans tête.
Yeah.
Comprendre son corps, ça have to payer à son corps, mais tête là pas là. Could you imagine yourself like walking without your head?
No. I mean, no.
It's crazy. So that's why, like, because that's what say, why don't you send them, outside of Haiti? No, because first we have good university in Haiti, and people tend to think that everything out of Haiti is bad. No, we have good universities in Haiti. I was able to study in Haiti and just go to Dartmouth for the first time, and then I did well in all of my classes at Dartmouth.
So, and for those who don't know, that's an Ivy League. And
then without even like taking ESL, I was like straight to classes in an Ivy League school, and I did well. So that means things that are good are coming out of Haiti, and that's also a way for us to invest in the educational system in Haiti, because by keeping the top students in university, that's also upgrade the level, the quality even of conversation, and all the training that is happening at the university. And because also these people, they study in Haiti, most of them also stay in Haiti. and then
Yes.
they are contributing to better the society. It is also good to notice that the Biden, the humanitarian program has given us a big hit, because some of our graduates, they are leaving the country, which is very unfortunate, because our mission is to use this class of leaders so that they could stay. And then we're also happy that a lot of our graduate, they also commit, to stay, like myself. I could easily, I was there when they with designate TPS. I was in the US, I could just take TPS and then stay, As I'm speaking to you, my house has been looted by gangs in Haiti since March, and my family hasn't been able to go. But when I'm thinking about my ancestors, Toussaint Louverture, Dessalines, these people, they were facing difficulties. They didn't won. We would have not been independent in 1804.
Wow.
They stay. Whatever it was, the impossible international forces that are still present and that are still dominant in our politics and everything that's happening. Our ancestors didn't run. I'm not telling people they should not run. Everybody has their own situation, and then I can tell you, like, living, particularly Port-au-Prince, is a daily life-threatening situation. I'm not questioning, your reason, but I'm also looking back and saying, if all of our ancestors won from France, what would have happened? There was not going to be any Haiti. And even if we have to leave, what are you doing to better Haiti so that you can come back?
Wow.
Or even so that you could visit. Ki a yi sek pata reme nan summer sa la, nou la badi, on ba on ti pied kokoye, na manjon bon ti lambi grillé, avec on ti dlo kokoye. We all would love that. All of us would like that. So that's why, like, some of us have to stay. If not, most of us have to stay. And the ones that can't stay for any, because, like, if your life is threatened, like, if you have kids, it's a different ballroom. So I understand that. But even though you're not there, what are you doing to say that I have contributed to the change that I want to see in Haiti? That's some good meat for thought, for thinking.
Wonderfully said. So wonderfully said. And I appreciate you bringing a different perspective, because as a person who has family who has come into America from the Biden program, I have to be honest and say, this is not a thought that I had, right? So for you to be able to say, hey, this is actually the antithesis of what we are trying to do as an organization. We are trying to allow the brain, those who have, how they say, made in Haiti, right?
Yep.
Right? Educated, born, raised in Haiti, who understand the essence of the country, right? Who have a pulse on the country. Like, leaving has a huge impact. And I'm happy that you chose this as a safe space to be able to put that counterpoint, because we definitely need to hear it.
Definitely.
So, Help started out as it told us, very personal and informal. And essentially what we learned along the way was the extraordinary low rate of university enrollment and the very, very low graduation rate at Haitian universities. A couple of years ago, the state university said that their graduation rate was 13%. So 87% of students who start at the State University of Haiti do not finish. And then the brain drain, as Daphnee mentioned, historically 85% of Haitians who've earned a university degree now live outside of Haiti. And so I always tell people, take the place where you work, take your business, and tell 85% of the employees with a college degree not to show up tomorrow morning, and replace them with people who have either a third grade education, and sixth grade education, or a 10th grade education. How long does your business last? most businesses won't last a day because those people who are undereducated don't have the skills needed to run a successful business in the 21st century. Then let's imagine trying to run a country like that. We actually don't have to imagine it. You just have to go to Haiti. That's what Haiti is. That's what ends up happening is you're trying to run a country without an educated class. And so that's why, and as far as the Biden program goes, I think if you're undereducated in Haiti, there is no future for you in the country. There's no opportunity. You're going to be working at your best option is working at the hardware store for $100 a month. And that's, and that's not really great. But if you have a college, if you're able to find a job, that's right. If you have a college degree, what we've seen is that because it's very simple, it's supply and demand. The businesses need people with the skills that college graduates have. The number of people graduating from college is tiny. Many of those are leaving. And so the premium that people are paying for college graduates in Haiti is really extraordinary. And that's why, our average salary is 13 times the average Haitian salary.
So this is good. Before we move forward, and I want you guys to kind of think about the call to action. What do you want people to do with this information? How can they support this organization? But before that, if listeners, I'm going to speak directly to you. If you've already not been convinced on how amazing this program is and the true impact, you've heard it from Daphnee in her own story and journey, and you heard Conor share many different stories of people's lives who have been touched by the HELP program. You've heard about the strategy, the approach, and really how they are standing up against brain drain. I think something that is a sensitive topic to really talk about, right? And something that's personal, as Daphnee said, right? We all, people have different reasons, but it's still an important thing to talk about. If you've already not been convinced, I want to read some recent data that was shared with me about the impact that this organization has had. So over 325 alumni, 66% of those alumni still reside in Haiti. We just heard that 85% of all the other people who have degrees have left, but 66% of the graduates of the HELP program are living and working in Haiti, right? Over 2,000 people have been touched, right, by the program, participants, their families, service project providers, and over a 99% retention rate and an average salary now that is $13,000 per year, which is, again, as Conor said, 13 times the national average salary in Haiti. So Daphnee, Conor, tell people what can they do to get involved and why you need them to get involved.
Well, yeah, let me just say first, another statistic that we're especially proud of is our graduation rate. Our graduation rate is 90%. Graduation rate overall in the United States, a 5-year graduation rate at all U.S. colleges is 64%. And for first-generation college students, it's 27%. And we're operating in Haiti under what are essentially wartime conditions with 100% first-gen college students. I mean, Daphne's parents didn't make it out of primary school, and we have a 90% graduation rate. So as far as a call to action, I mean, it's real simple. The more money we get, the more students we can get into school. We have a waiting list that's a mile long of students who never got to be in high school. And once you're in HELP, once you're a HELP student, you're almost guaranteed to graduate, almost guaranteed, 90% guarantee of graduation, and then about the same guarantee of getting a job. And as I said, they're at an average salary of $13,000. But also, Daphnee can also tell a little bit about all the things that our alumni are doing, working together to create change and expand opportunity in their communities. But it really all depends. We are 100%. Well, that's why we're 100% reliant on donations, with the exception of money that our graduates are currently contributing. Up to about $70,000 a year comes from our graduates, but otherwise we're dependent on donations. And so the more money we receive, the more kids the more straight A students we put in school, we graduate, we keep in Haiti, and they can change their family's trajectory and have a big impact in their community.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, another statistic that I think it's very important as well is the fact that our graduates studied in 2015, they started to contribute financially to the program as well. So they started a program we called CORIM, and that's a student that came with the name, and we think that was brilliant. Contribution régulière pour éducation multipliée.
I love it.
That they like regular contribution for the multiplication of education. So, and then students studying in 2015, they sign a contract, and they say, when I graduate, I'll contribute 10% of my monthly salary over 7 or 8 years. 7 is
Wow.
we gave them some incentives so that they can contribute and finish earlier. And since this program started, the first check was received in 2015, and a couple months ago, we hit $300,000
Wow.
from alumni. We have one student that who graduated from our class in December. She was the first student graduated from the program, financed solely by alumni, and we currently have 6 current students that are being sponsored by alumni of the program. So just to tell you, like, are committed, and then also how the students when we ask them why they are contributing to help, like it's just like they are so grateful, and then they know by contributing 10%, they're not even giving back what they received, but it's a contribution. At least you give a hand to the person behind you, because you were in the same shoes, and then you say, yeah, you can come and join me here. So that's very important, and we are very grateful for alumni. Even myself, as I told you, I graduated in 2012. And I didn't sign the contract because help improves, we add services, and then we change the program over time. But myself, I was so touched by the service, and then so touched by the student that I myself committed, and I gave authorization and help to keep $100, every month from my salary to contribute to that program. And this is my message. This is my message to people, and then mostly the Haitian diaspora. And I'm going to try to maybe say it in Creole so that everybody can understand me. Je connais que diaspora haïtien yo reme Haïti, yo toujours ap chercher qui jan pour impliquer, how to get involved. Je connais tout yo prend un pile coup parce que en pile fois nous bail comme nous, yo pas bien utiliser. Mais cependant, vle di nou que gen un programme qui a fait un changement fondamental et profond dans le pays, et ce programme help, et c'est résultat de programme ça. Donc et me dit que grâce à le programme help famille pas gen 10 gouttes pour m'acheter un livre dicté ou te voyer me la caille moi, mais jodi me fait assez quoi pour capable prendre soin tête moi. Et m'ka dit, si c'est pas de problème Haïti, c'est pas de problème insécurité en Haïti, m'a vivre confortable avec famille. Et m'ka aider famille, moi aider frère avec Sem, ti Sem aller dans université, et m'connais déjà son garantie petite Sem yo frère yo pas jamais besoin de goût, pas jamais manquer livre. Pas de livre y a besoin que y a manqué, et y a ka faire toute étude que vous voulez. Donc ça veut dire dans sens programme ça retire dans pauvreté, il retire famille dans pauvreté, il retire toute génération qui vient après moi dans pauvreté à jamais. Et c'est qualité changement ça yo que nous besoin pour pays. Donc si tu cherches un programme, si tu dis m'en vie impliquer dans pays, m pas sûr m'vle dire ou mettre prendre chance ou help. Et comment on capable faire ça? Ou capable aller sur site nous www.uhelp.net www.uhelp.net and become a monthly donor. Become a monthly donor. It could be, I don't know, $10 per month. That's maybe a sandwich at Starbucks, right?
Oh yeah, it's $10 now.
$10 per month, 20, 50, 100 if you want to match mine, and do that. And also, if you have connections, if you have, if you've connected with wealthy people, if they do matching donation, if you have a group of people that you would like us to come and present so that more people can know about this program, please, you can get in touch with us. We have an email, info@uhelp.net. You can reach out to us then, and we'll be glad to give you more information and help you how to contribute to this noble cause.
Thank you both so much, Daphnee and Conor. It has been amazing hearing about the work that you guys are doing at Help. Listeners, there are so many gems that I hope that you took from this interview today. If you like what you heard, as they said, connect with them. Think about ways that you can be a part of seeing more students' lives be impacted. And of course, if you loved what you heard on this podcast, subscribe to our podcast on YouTube at The Haitian Community Podcast and on all other social media platforms at Empower Haitians. Thank you, everyone. Nawe Pita.
Bye-bye.
Merci en pile, Brittany. Nous comptons là avec vous.
Merci.
Merci en pile.
Great job, guys. Thank you so much. This was a 10 out of 10.